Well, we are coming down from Blue Lagoon to Manta Bay Pass to try and swim with the mantas. And we've been skirting most of the reef, being quite far out to sea, probably about 3 or 4 miles out. And we've been about 60 metres of water, which is pretty good. And yeah, there's definitely some big chunks of reef out here. We've had big white water punching up on our port side as we've been coming down the coast. But now we've got to actually go in through the reef to get to the island. And my chart, there's a reef here. Major reef here. So you can see the major reef, and the smaller one is supposed to be 7 metres, but when I look at the satellite images, I can see reef. So we're going to go a little bit closer to the main reef, which is obvious, and there's a lot of white water picking up on it to our front, and try and avoid the one that's less obvious. It's supposed to be 7 metres deep, but which is actually a reef. That's again the problem with Fiji. It's the charting is not super accurate, and there is a lot of reef. Well, we're almost at Manta Bay Pass, and I'm just going in towards Musket Bay, which is just north of Manta Bay Pass. So there's a bay in here which probably gets less swell, is less affected by the tide, and has less boats than the Manta Bay Pass area, which can get pretty bloody congested. Last time I was there was about 15 boats all swinging around, banging into each other, which was not wonderful. But let me give you a look. Musket Bay. And also got some wind gusts coming off the land as we run down the coast. Pretty windy today, it's like 25 knots. But yeah, there's 3 yachts in there, and I think there's room for another. Musket Cove Resort, we're parking opposite it. Which is a lot more protected. But yes, this looks far more pleasant.
Very pretty. Cove, and we're heading to the next Yasawa island south, and today it's supposed to be dead calm, but it's turned southeasterly and it's going to turn southerly, I believe, but it's supposed to drop off, so we're heading back into town, get some provisions, etc., get ready for some family coming over, and we needed to leave the location we were in because opposite Paradise Cove, beautiful location, nice resort, friendly people, but the weather was going to turn and make it very uncomfortable. So we went diving this morning, or snorkeling at Manta Bay Pass, and didn't see any mantas, but beautiful coral. It was just a cracker of a morning. But yeah, we're just arriving on the next island south. I think it's Way Up Island.
just around the corner should be the Octopussy Resort. Fiona says it's not the Octopussy Resort, but does she know? Fiona's just sorting out the main, we've just got the main, we've got the sail away. We're just going to find a route in here. It's a little bit corally. We're just working our way in to this Octopus Resort, and there's there's a whole bunch of coral out front of this place. There's a channel a bit further over, and there's another bit of coral over there, but I'm just going to try and pick my way in through this bit. Yeah, I'm going to try and go this side of it. Sorry? Yeah, I know that there's more on the left as well. Yeah, just picking our way in, slowly. Octopus Resort is a great spot for afternoon beer, and they do a nice meal. Well, we are leaving the Octopussy Resort. Well, Octopus Resort. I like to think of it as Octopussy Resort, but Fiona, busy getting up the main, trying to avoid that piece of reef out there, which is just picking up this morning. Once we get past there, we should be in deep water. Focus on deep water, not dead water. But yeah, we're out of here early. Got about 35 miles to go today, so want to try and get a bit of a early start. Well, we've made it out of the anchorage, got past the reef, and now we're just moving up past another resort with a massively beautiful backdrop. Little mountain range there. Absolute cracker of a day. Started slow, but it's just booming now. We're leaving Yasawa Island, a few boats up there in the anchorage, and we're coming down past, it's something resort, Dream, I can't remember which resort it is. There's so many bloody resorts here, but they do diving with bull sharks if you're a fucking insane person and want to do that shit. And that little island in front of us. But yeah, there's a few good anchorages up in through here, unless the wind is blowing from the south, and then it's just shit. You want to be on the other end of the island. And Fiona is up there doing her workout because it's a beautiful day. Sailing in Fiji. You know, charts are not bad, but they're certainly not accurate, and often you find yourself going over a patch of coral which should be a lot deeper than it is, or it shouldn't be there at all. So what I've started to do is rely a lot more on the satellite images, and I find Navionics has satellite imagery, but it's not always great, and I think the Google Maps is probably the best that I've come across so far. Google Earth, if you want to pull down images initially. But I've been running Starlink, and I've just been using Google Maps, and it's pretty good on satellite, so I'll give you a look at what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm just cruising down to Musket Cove, and from here I can just see the reef formations a little bit better. I can also see bommies and other things. Now, I was originally going to come in through the back entrance here. It's probably still deep enough, but you know, there's a lot of coral there. So, not being completely familiar with this area, I'm just going to take a little bit of a longer trip, come down and in the main passage. That way I don't get any scares. As I've had already on this trip, going over what was a 25 metre deep piece of ground which turned into 4 metres. Scared the fuck out of me because I was sailing at about 6 knots when I went over it, and it was quite alarming to go from 30 to 25 to 4 metres, and so trying very hard not to let that happen again, trying very hard not to hit anything, and Fiji, I think, is probably one of the most challenging places I've sailed in from a navigation perspective. I think you've got to be really careful here. And if you've got a plastic fantastic boat, you hit one of these reefs at 5-6 knots, it's going to do a lot of damage. Even an aluminium boat can still punch a hole in it and sink. So paying a little bit more attention to what you're doing is advisable. There's also a lot of boats flying around here as well. A lot of speedboats, ferries. As you get closer into the capitals, just got to keep an eye out for those guys also. Anyway, getting closer to Musket Cove, and I can see Musket Cove anchorage from here, and there are a lot of boats. Lot of boats. Well, we are now in Marsden Cove. Marsden Cove. Deja vu. We're in Musket Cove.
You don't want to be back in Musket Cove.
No. Well, we do soon, but not yet. And but we just picked up a mooring ball, and this place is busy. It's busy as busy can be. Boats everywhere. We just managed to fluke a mooring. Not quite sure how, but we did. And yeah, but my God, there must be 100 boats out here. There's boats anchored everywhere. There's boats on moorings everywhere. The place is about as busy as any place I've been in about 8 months. Way too many people. Way too many people.